Jess,
Yes.
do you remember Jason Biggs?
Yeah, the guy from American Pie.
Yeah. What do you think he's doing right now?
Hopefully listening to the Pretty Little Podcast.
Yeah. Like, what do you think a day in the life of Jason Biggs in 2026 is?
Probably pretty good if he invested his money wisely.
Meh. Maybe. I hope so. The world was better when he was making movies.
Is that true?
Yeah. Life was good back then.
I had no idea you were such a Biggs fan.
Hey, I often think about different celebrities and what they're doing today.
I don't know that I believe you.
Jason Biggs is one of those that I was like, man, he was everywhere.
Yeah.
For like a while, too.
Well, but that's the case with a lot of people. They have their 15 minutes of fame, as they say.
How are you, Jason? You doing all right?
Like,
comment, and subscribe. Let us know how you're doing, buddy. We're worried.
Welcome to our show about pop culture stuff. We keep watching and connected, but it's never enough. Talking with our friends about our favorite things, TV shows and movies and some random swearing. This is the pretty little podcast.
Hello, all you pretty little people. This is the Pretty Little Podcast. I'm your host, Ed B. Chad. With me is just Jess.
Heyo.
What are we talking about today, Jess?
Well, today is kind of we got 4 movies, right? But we're talking about a man. At the end of the day, we're talking about who is not Jason Biggs.
About a man.
We're talking about a man.
Beneath the clothes, you find a man.
Yeah, well, I don't want to get beneath his clothes, no offense. But yeah, we're going to talk about a guy who was integral in my childhood, probably in yours as well.
Oh, sure.
Any 80s kid knows Don Bluth.
Yeah, Don Bluth. Now, as soon as you hear that name, I know what you're thinking is Mrs. Brisby, right?
What
Mrs.
the
Brisby.
hell?
Yeah. Well,
Who were you
look,
doing?
we're not here to Bob's your uncle. Okay, there'll be no me scoozies in the water closet today, folks.
Are you okay?
Because Don Bluth's story is an American tale. One that has been passed down from generation to generation from a land before time.
Okay.
And though we may walk through the valley of the shadow of the dragon's lair, we will strive to be space ace of our own Titan AE.
Is this what you work on
And
when
once
you're
we
just
are
sitting in
torn
the
from this
bedroom?
mortal coil, my brothers and sisters, we will rock a doodle in the afterlife.
He's from El Paso.
With a full understanding of all the secrets of Nim.
I didn't know that. He's from El Paso. I'm just ignoring your weirdness.
Yeah, I don't sleep anymore.
Clearly, what the hell?
This is who I am.
It was partially impressive and partially I can't even look at you because you're like making eye contact with me while you're doing this and your hands are doing things and I'm just like, can't.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna look at his wiki real quick.
That's all right.
You didn't say anything about all dogs go to heaven, I don't think.
No,
So
I didn't.
fail. Episode over.
I did my best. These are the
You
jokes,
got a lot of
guys.
them in there for whatever reason.
Yeah,
no.
I mean, he's the man, the myth, the legend, right? And honestly, the one guy that did what we should all be doing, which is telling Disney to go fuck itself.
Yes, I know. He did,
Oh,
too.
I digress. I know. You guys love your Disney. You kids love the horse, and Oswald rabbits. And maybe I understand, but I don't think I do.
You're very strange today.
Hey, you know what? There's plenty of shit that I like that people can make fun of. All
Okay.
right, go ahead. Do you think you could break me? I call myself Deadbeat Chad.
Yeah, I know.
I did that.
Yes, I'm aware.
Do your worst.
I certainly didn't do that. No, Don Bluth movies as a kid. We're going to be talking about 4 of them today, and we each picked 2, right? Because he has a lot of movies. Some more influential than others.
Yeah, some far more memorable than others.
So, but we're not going over his entire filmography or anything like that. We each picked 2 of our favorite Don Bluth movies to talk about. So I picked, what did I pick? The Land Before Time and the first one, and An American Tail, the first one. And then you picked The Secret of Nim, the first one, and Titan AE, probably the only one. I don't know.
As far as I know, there's
that
only
one got
one
a sequel.
Titan AE movie.
So, and I had never actually seen Titan AE until last night when we watched it for this.
Good.
So, but yeah, we wanted to talk about, obviously this is our animation season. It's starting to wrap up. We don't have that many more
it's coming
episodes.
down to the wire.
And but this was something that from the beginning I was like, dude, I want to do a Don Bluth episode because, and we'll get into it. I'm sure we'll talk about each of the movies and why we picked them and why they're influential and all of that. But he did a fantastic job. Like he's up there with Jim Henson for me as far as like influential in my childhood personally,
Right.
and a lot of 80s kids, because like he tackles really important issues like life and death issues
Mhm.
in a way that kids can understand. And I think
And
that
adults can appreciate.
yeah, no, very
as
much
well.
so. And I think that's very important. There is that darkness, but you also never lose hope. That's something that's a thread in all of his movies. Like no matter how dark things get, there is hope. And I think that's a message that is immensely important, even more so now than when the movies were made.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, they are timeless classics. They hold up very well for the most part. And this was, Don Bluth movies. When I think about like Don Bluth and like my childhood, it really comes down to like these were just like the go-to movies for schools and daycares.
For you.
And yeah, for me.
I didn't.
I don't know how you didn't. We grew up roughly around in the same area.
And my daycares didn't really watch movies. They just put us outside.
Well, yeah, we had outside time too, but like during the summer vacation, like when we were there all day instead of going to school, like they would put on a movie for nap time and you could either watch the movie or take a nap, but you had to shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they didn't do Don Bluth movies.
And
for that
Don
movie,
Bluth was a go-to. Star Wars was another one. Indiana Jones, they showed us a lot. But Don Bluth, and is specifically Land Before Time, The Secret of Them, and All Dogs Go to Heaven. Those were like the only Don Bluth movies I remember seeing in like daycare or school.
No, I just had the VHS for at least The Land Before Time and An American Tale. And then my brother later on really got into all of the Land Before Time sequels.
If you like sequels to movies, The Land Before Time is your fucking IP.
They absolutely got
There
you.
are 14 sequels to that
So
thing.
I have seen most of them just because, I would babysit. I'm 11 years older than
Which
my brother.
one's your favorite?
The first one.
The first one?
Yes.
I mean, of the sequels.
Oh, God, don't ask me that. Because I can't. I was trying to think earlier this week because I'm trying not to just search shit on the internet so much.
Land Before Time 7, Littlefoot's New Groove.
Okay, yeah, right. No, I was legit trying. I'm trying to not just search things on the internet when I can't think of something
Right.
so much because, I should use my brain. And I can't remember his name. The little sharp tooth who joins the group and like later.
I have no idea what
He's
you're
a little like blue guy. And I can't remember his name because the only name I can come up with in my head is absolutely not his name. So I can't think of it. But that one was all right. That one was one of my brother's favorites. So I have seen most of them. The first one is the one.
They may have shown us this like 2 in school at some point.
Oh, he
'cause
had
that probably would have come out.
He had a whole
early
the
enough,
big Disney or not. I guess not Disney, but the big like VHS covers.
Yeah, the clamshell.
Yeah,
VHS tape,
those
yeah.
type of things. See, there's a whole line of them.
Yeah,
that he had. So I've seen them, but the only thing that really sticks out in my head is the first one, and then
that's one of the things that I don't
kid.
understand. Because even as a kid, like Land Before Time was something that like I didn't hate it. I liked it, as a matter of fact.
Oh,
as a
I think
kid.
it's tremendously
And-
me
Right. There's like, there was a lot of marketing behind this, especially when it comes to
yeah.
like Pizza Hut.
Dude,
tie-ins
you've
with
seen pictures
Pizza
of me with
You
my
still
puppets.
have them.
I
They're in
do.
a box
Yeah,
somewhere.
I have my Land Before Time puppets. Oh, I loved them. I had 2 Petries, which was amazing because
Yeah,
he's my
this
favorite.
was something that was like kind of a big deal,
Yes, it
and
was.
especially when it first came out. But as far as like the movies that they showed us in school, like Secret of Nim is one that always stuck with me. That's the one that I've by far seen more than any other Don Bluth movie.
Well, The Secret of Nim is a 1982 American independent animated fantasy adventure film directed by Don Bluth in his directorial debut, based on Robert C. O'Brien's children's novel, Mrs. Frisbee and the Rats of Nim. So,
Never read the book. The movie itself is something that we've actually like figured out watching Don Bluth films over the past week. How short they are.
I didn't realize that because as a kid, like
these movies are
time
incredibly
passes
short,
so
with the exception
different.
of Titan AE, and we'll get into that. But like, Secret of Nim and Land Before Time.
Land Before Time was like an hour long.
Yeah, if you take out the opening credits and the end credits, these are like an hour-long experiences.
That's insane to me. I had no idea.
We're able to tell an incredible amount of story in 1 hour.
Well, there's no wasted anything, but it also doesn't feel rushed. There are a lot of like skips ahead, you know, in time. It's like scene later on down the road.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll talk about Secret of Nim for a bit.
Secret of Nim is just, it's one of those like quintessential childhood movies for me because like I mentioned, it was always the go-to for video day at school or whatever. If like the teacher needed to grade some papers, put on Secret of Nim and grade your papers, and
that's strange to me. I feel like they certainly didn't show it in school because it's dark. It's one of the darker ones. Yeah, 1982.
Yeah, so by the time I was in elementary school, we're talking late 80s.
Yeah. So
yeah, it would have been on VHS already, easily to get for teachers, and you know.
Yeah. Secret of Nim is interesting for a children's movie, honestly, because like I said, it's definitely darker. It deals with a lot of animal experimentation, like medical experimentation, you know, death and fear. It is very much
it's an adult experience, right? Because you know, you think kids movie, you think wacky, kooky characters, and you got the little cute one, and then you got the one that's got a little bit of an attitude, and but there's none of that. This is just a mother trying to save her son's life.
Well, there's Jeremy.
Jeremy is, yes, he is the
whenever Dom
relief.
DeLuise shows up, and he often does in Don Bluth movies.
But it's not like a Land Before Time where each character is their own thing and a kid can identify with one of these characters or whatever. It focuses mostly on, you know,
Mrs. Brisby
and her and trying to get
move her home.
Yes,
because her son has pneumonia. Her husband was recently killed,
and it's now time. They all live like underground on a farm.
Yeah,
and it is now harvest.
She lives in like she lives in a cinder block, and it's springtime, so the farmer's going to come out and plow the field and get ready to, you know,
for
plant.
The next, yes,
yeah, and so they call it moving day. Which this has a lot of elements of both Watership Down and Plague Dogs.
Ferngully,
to me. Well,
kind of.
Sure. Yeah, but in the whole like human disrupting animal life type thing, and then also the medical experimentation, both of those are Richard Adams stories, and this is more child friendly than either of those for sure. Which I also saw as a kid, and we are not doing a Watership Down episode. I can't deal with it. Like, I'm legit to this day fucking
Watership
traumatized.
Down would just not be a fun episode anyway.
No. But anyways, it's that type of adult theming that's brought in and made a little more approachable. Yeah. So children can have these lessons without...
A little less jarring.
Being traumatized, and I don't want to go into it.
But this is also one of those movies, too, where, like... this was my first experience with like miniature cinema where you're like scaled down to the size of the characters. So like there's a scene where they like crawl into like a tractor and you're getting an inside view of the tractor or like just having used like different things that humans use and repurpose, similar to like what Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, like Gadget.
Sure.
When she would make all her little things, she would use like a bottle cap as a wheel.
Yeah, if you ever, well, I'm sure you didn't probably, but Brian Jacques wrote a big series of books like known as the Redwall books, and it's usually like woodland animals that are like the focus of that and their approach to the world. And a button is a plate,
right?
Like that, kind of like the Borrowers or the Secret of Arietti, that type of thing too,
where everything is kind of scaled down, and you get a look inside their home, and like you mentioned, their plates and their dishes are all like thimbles and buttons and shit. And
I love it.
this
love
would
it.
have
It's
been like
adorable.
my first experience with something like
Okay,
that.
yeah.
So yeah, that would have been a very new thing for me to
It does
to see.
let kids look at the world a different way. Like Mrs. Brisby gets trapped in a bird cage. She gets put in a bird cage
Right.
at one point. And I had birds growing up. So I had a bird cage very like that with the little water dish that
yeah, it
pulled
was a
out and
very
everything.
basic looking bird. cage.
Yeah. And it makes you think just in a different way.
Right.
So, and like
But
the
yeah, I
lantern
mean,
going
it
down. Yeah.
really is just at the heart of it all, like a story that, it's a mother who has a son, a child who is dying of pneumonia.
Mhm.
And she goes and meets with, what would you call him? He's not a wizard.
Nicodemus. Well, yeah, because she originally goes to Mr. Ages and gets medicine, and then she goes to the Great Owl, and he tells her to go to the rats because the rats are different. They escaped from NIM, which is like a medical institute where they were doing experimentation on animals, and the rats became smart.
Well,
And they learned how to escape.
this movie too.
This does have some magic in it too,
Right. And
which is cool.
I was going to get into that because 1982, like this was very much right in the middle of like fantasy wizards
which
and
is
warriors
my fucking
type
wheelhouse, 100%.
This is still like the 70s idea of high fantasy, ushering itself into the 80s. Now productions are a little better. The animation style is a little better. But I mean, we're talking about the era of like The Last Unicorn, I think came out in the same year.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, this is definitely...
This is my world.
Magic. There's magic in this. And there are
it's
clearly like sword wielding rats and things that have sword fights and things of that nature. So yeah, it really
there
is
a
this
little. He's got kind of like a grimoire, but maybe it's a diary. Maybe it's like just him writing things down.
Right.
But there's a lot of sparkles.
But it's largely contrasted with the idea of this just down home Southern farm living family.
Yeah.
That has no concept of magic or...
And I love fiction where there is just something slightly other about the world that you just don't see. Like there's so much going on under that rose bush that they have no idea.
Right.
And they're so close to this like amazing other world, but to them it's just, well, I got to go plow.
Yeah.
I got to feed the cat.
They're doing farm work and they're focused on the farm and everything. But yeah, there is like this weird contrast there because it's like humanity kind of moved on from like the idea of magic and mage work and stuff. And like the animals just fully embraced it.
Well, and because they're new to intelligence
it's not just the rats either. It's the owls. It's like everything. Every different kind of animal here is well aware that magic exists and they're all like 100% on board.
Yeah.
I just think it was...
I think it's great. But you want to talk briefly about how Don Bluth tends to portray cats? In this and American Tale, but they're both mouse-led movies, so it's understandable.
As if like a mouse's only like enemy would be a cat.
Well, but that is the
especially
traditional...
a field mouse. There's plenty of shit out there they got to worry about.
I know.
Besides cats, the cat typically would stay in the house, maybe outside in the yard,
not in the farm. Dude, cats are known as mousers on farms.
Sure, but
they're
like,
there to kill mice.
As far out in that field as Mrs. Brisby lived, that cat was not a problem.
Because Dragon didn't come out there. Dragon is the name of the cat. She goes into his territory. He does hang out around the house. Although, don't get me into like actual scientific, like, because people have tracked feral cats and see what they do, and they roam a couple of miles a day when left to their own devices, like just outdoor feral cats. Anyways, but no, the only time you really encounter Dragon is when you're coming up because the rats live beneath the rose bush, which is right by the house. Dragon isn't necessarily an issue for Mrs. Brisby and her children. That's why she lives out there. The farmer and the tractor is the problem.
Yes.
So, and I mean, her husband, Jonathan, was killed because he was trying to drug Dragon. He was trying to drug his food.
Yep.
And he got killed instead. So yeah, it's them.
Yeah, this movie took the opposite approach of Disney and the mother's alive and the father's dead.
Yeah, no, they Don Bluth started by subverting the anime trope of the mother is dead.
Right.
He makes up for it later. Don't worry. But yeah, so I like this is a really interesting I don't know, because then you've also got, you know, the whole like betrayal and the rats are infighting. And so you get like political intrigue
yeah.
and all of that stuff. It's a lot in a relatively short amount of time. I don't know that I fully understood all the intricacies when I was small, but I know I liked it. I was able to follow the story easily enough. I just,
Right.
you know, some of the more subtle infighting with the rats and whatnot went completely over my head. But that just
Yeah.
gives you something to come back and discover later on when you grow.
Yeah, this is not a movie that it's not dumbing anything down.
No.
It expects you to be mature watching this. It's telling a very mature story. Like I said,
Yeah.
it's something that it's as simple as a mother trying to save her son's life, and then it spirals out of control into something larger than life that she now has to deal with. And it really comes down to her and like being pure of heart and having the power to basically
'cause-
move the universe.
Yeah, yes. Well, but Jonathan helps with that too, because Jonathan was one of 2 mice that came from Nim as well that survived. The other was Mr. Ages. And he had this amulet, and Nicodemus kept it for her.
Yes.
And so when I love her as a mother because she is kind and nurturing, but she will go to the great owl. She is trembling. She is terrified, but her son, and I have to do this, you know, and then she's met and impresses the great owl. And he's like, you know what? You're Jonathan's. Okay. Go to the rats. They can help you. And again, she's terrified. She gets attacked by one of the rats and he almost kills her and she has to escape trying to get down. And she talks to Nicodemus and, you know, they see this spark within her, but it is Jonathan's amulet that Nicodemus gives to her that she is then able to activate when all seems lost because the infighting of the rats messes with the moving of the home that they were doing. You know, the other faction took this opportunity to get rid of Nicodemus at the cost of dropping her house on him like the Wizard of Oz. And then all was lost. But then because she's pure of heart and because she has this amulet, she and her husband's spirit in a way come together to save their children.
Mm-hmm.
And that's beautiful.
Yeah,
it's great.
It really is an interesting movie. It like I said, as far as childhood goes, it's one of my earliest like movie experience that I can remember. And it just was one of those movies that they showed to us all the time. And as many times as I watched it growing up, like it was never something where I was just like, oh, this again.
Yeah.
You know, it was something that was always just captivating. Every time they put it on, every time I watched it, it was captivating.
And I loved watching all of these movies now this week.
Yeah, even
like, I don't
watching
care.
it this week, it's the same story.
Two
it's the
40-year-old people in their 40s watching these, kids movies.
It still hits.
Wonderful. Yes.
And
dude. Yes.
It aged very well and highly recommend everybody watch it.
Absolutely.
Watch it with your kids. Introduce your children to movies like this, and
don't let them be lost to time.
They will grow up with a brain in their head.
It doesn't have to be Baby Shark.
Yeah.
or whatever the kids are in town. Very out of it. Yeah. Which one do you want to do next?
Let's go in
the order we watched?
Chronological order.
Oh, God, I don't know.
Wouldn't that be American Tail will be next? 1986.
Yeah, okay. Well, doing back-to-back mouse ones, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, American Tail would be next, and that is a 1986 American animated musical comedy film directed by Don Bluth and written by Judy Freudberg and Tony Geiss. So, yeah, this is the only one of the 4 that we picked that is a musical. Don
Bluth tended to not do that.
Right. Yeah, more of his movies than not. Well, the later Land Before Time ones tended to be.
He had no involvement.
Yeah, I know. That's why I don't count those.
But yeah, an American Tail, I think All Dogs Go to Heaven was also considered a musical.
Yeah, it was.
But other than that, Rockadoodle, of course.
Yes. Well, that was the kind of the point of Rockadoodle.
But for the most part,
I don't hate
especially
Rockadoodle.
those earlier movies.
I don't hate it. Anyways.
He tended to not embrace the musical aspect of.
So this is another mouse-centered one, but this one is set in the late 19th century, and the story follows the Mousekowitzes, a family of Russian Jewish mice emigrating from the Russian Empire to the United States. and Fievel, the youngest or the son of the family, gets lost,
Yep.
and so he's trying to find his family. They're trying to find
He gets
him.
lost in New York, much like Kevin McAllister did.
Yes, but I think this came before that.
Oh, sure.
So, yeah, this is one of the movies that I know every downbeat, every bit of everything.
Well,
I
that's
could
good,
just
because
perform the movie.
This is one that I have seen the least.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know how
I
this movie
saw this
managed to. It's not
all
that
the time.
I definitely saw
I
it as a
owned it.
kid. I can't tell you where. I don't remember. This was not one that like I saw at school a lot, if at all.
Really?
I probably watched this at like a friend's house or something, but no, I didn't see American Tail much at all.
Oh
as a
man,
kid.
I loved this movie. As a kid.
Now Fievel Goes West, I did.
No, that one, no.
that one was like
No.
everywhere.
No, thank you. It's fine. I like the original one, where this family, like, because this is another one where again he takes these very heavy topics of like persecution and trying to make a better life for your family by uprooting everything and taking a risk on this dream that you've heard of, finding out the dream isn't really what you thought it was, because their whole thing is like at the beginning, there's no cats in America.
Right.
And they have a whole song about it. And the streets are paved with cheese, right? So America, which again is very much how America was seen around this time period by a lot of the world, and all these people who were coming, immigrating through Ellis Island and whatnot, which they do. It was seen as this place of glorious golden freedom, and everything, if we can just get there, everything's going to be fine. It'll be easy street. Everything's great, so, but they go, their home gets burned in Russia, and there's cat attacks. Again, the cats are very monstrous. And I think that in these, until you meet like Tiger, especially the Russian cats, but it's more like, I think like he draws the cats in the way that they appear to mice. Like that type of like growling monster, like big, sharp, dripping teeth, like
just nightmarish.
Yeah.
Beasts
big
that are here to kill.
Yeah.
Destroy.
And there's all kinds of people immigrating to America on the boat, because they go from Russia to Germany and then go from there to New York. And, they all share their tales of their issues with cats. Most of them, oh, my mother was killed. Oh, my love was killed.
Yep.
There's a song about it. And
it always comes back to the cats. The cats are the problem, and there are none in here, apparently.
Yeah, there are no
we don't
cats in
own
America.
2 of them, for sure.
Well, yeah. I mean, Mew was out there laying down next to you when we were watching this, and I was like, Mew, don't look. Don't listen to their propaganda. It's lies. You exist. So... But they get it while they're on the boat. See, Fievel is very precocious, right? He's always running off. He doesn't really listen. He's very like braggadocious, and he's got this, right? He just wants to explore, and everything will be fine. He has no real idea of how the world can work sometimes. Right. And he definitely gets several important lessons through this movie, because he's the reason he's lost off the boat is his dad is telling him to come back because there's a terrible storm coming. He takes his hat that his dad gave him at the previous, like, Hanukkah, right before they left Russia. Mm-hmm. He gave him his hat, and he purposefully throws it up to the top deck. So he has an excuse. I have to go get my hat. Like, right. I have to. And his poor father is like, oh my God, he's running after him. Anyways, Fievel end up, and the ocean itself, I love the personification here, because during the storm, again, I think we're seeing things through Fievel's eyes, because the storm becomes like a cat. If you look, the ocean is very cat-like.
This is an incredibly animated segment, by the way. Yes. The way that the waves kind of...
And it's playing with the boat and slapping at it.
Yeah, it creates this like monstrous looking demon that, like you mentioned, it's hitting the boat and
a cat thing,
tossing it around. And it's pretty cool.
It is. And Fievel loses his grip, and his father is desperately screaming for him, like being like he's hung off of a rope, like off the side of the boat, just screaming for his son who is lost to the ocean.
Yeah.
And So Fievel ends up in a bottle and he lands at the Statue of Liberty and meets Henri, who,
who's a pigeon,
yeah,
who apparently is in the middle of building the Statue of Liberty.
He's working on it's not no okay. Again, I do. There are humans in this world. Okay, in the Don Bluth movie,
Yeah, well, he seems to be convinced that this is his statue.
Okay, yeah. And how many things is Verity convinced are hers or it's her doing?
No,
he's
I get it.
in
It's
his
just
own little way.
ridiculous.
But I like that he's French because the Statue of Liberty was a gift from France, and they have their own. Like, it was a sign of the bond between the two nations. So it's little details like that you don't think about as a kid, you don't know about as a kid, but looking back, you're like, ooh, I see. I know why he's French now. And so yeah, Fievel, meets Henri. He helps him out. He tells him, oh, you'll get you'll find your family. And Fievel already is like, oh, I'll never find him. And he's like, oh, don't, never say never. And there's a whole song about that.
Yeah.
And, but it's a good message.
And to be fair, there are good songs in here. Like, I wouldn't consider them they're not something that I would listen to.
Well,
but I didn't really grow up with them. But the songs in this film are really good messages for your children.
Yes, they are.
And, the dreaming big is a big motif that goes throughout the film, which is a good message for children.
It's a way that Tanya, his, Fievel's sister, who never gives up, right? By the way, she also never says never. She's like, he's alive. And her parents are so soul wrecked, heartbroken over the apparent death of their son that they're like, please I can't even I can't think about him. Stop, please just stop. And she's like, he's out there. I feel it.
Meanwhile, the parents are like, God, get over it already. He's
been
dead,
6
okay?
seconds.
He's not coming back.
We can make another. No. So it's terrible. But no, she never does. And the Somewhere Out There song, which is probably the best known song from
I believe
the movie,
that won some kind of award.
It should have. Is the two siblings saying, somewhere out there, I know I'm loved. We're underneath the same sky, which again, this is meant for children. So that separation that, you don't know what children are going through in this world. But it helps
very,
to
very
think.
Simple lyrics.
Yes.
So,
but they're
even
little
a 5-year-old
kids.
could understand.
They are little kids singing this song and thinking of these thoughts. So it helps to think, we're looking at the same moon. We're sleeping under the same sky. Even if we're not together, we're in each other's hearts. That type of thing.
This is something you could have heard on Sesame Street.
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
Easily.
Well, this is for younger kids, Yeah. So, but, then there's this whole subplot with the cats and you meet, Fievel meets Tiger and all of that. So, the mice are, fed up with the cats and they're going to come up with a plan to get them out. There's also people like Honest John who, again, is there's a lot of stereotypes of the type of people that were actually humans living and acting and around that time. Right. So he's the drunk politician who immediately looks at all the immigrants getting off the boat and goes, hey, vote for me. Hey, vote for me. He's out there passing and schmoozing and, oh, I know everybody, so he can keep his public office and stay drunk all the time. Yeah. Then you've got your upper crust Gilded Age Gussie Malsheimer, voiced by Madeline Kahn, who, is very just swishy around and she just owns everything. And yeah, so the mice do come together to come up with this plan, and Fievel ends up, he hung out with Tony. They meet Bridget. Bridget is this activist who is very much, we can say cat, we're in America. Because it's kind of like a word people shish, right. Don't even, you'll invite them in if you say it, Yeah,
but we got freedom of speech here.
Yes, she does. And she's like, we have free speech. Cat, 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 and double cat. Yeah. And she's this little Irish mouse. And Tony immediately sees her. And in the Don Bluth way is just whoa. And that's it for him. Immediate love at first sight. But she knows Honest John. They're trying to help Fievel find his family too, but they're also trying to deal with the cats. So you know, that's how Fievel ends up talking to Gussie Mousenheimer and Honest John. And he tells them this story that his father told him at the beginning of the movie about the Mouse of Minsk back in Russia, about this huge mouse that scared all the cats away. So, yeah, Fievel's like, yeah, I get this idea.
Yep.
And so then they have a plan.
Yeah, it very much is like just a fish out of water story of somebody coming in with preconceived notions of what paradise is, while also being, you know, very naive and accepting of basically what anybody is telling them. You know, this is like immigration 101. You know, a lot of people would come here and they would just immediately be taken advantage of in one way or another because they were just, you know,
they didn't know and they thought they'd made it. They were safe now. This is it.
Yeah, right. And unfortunately, that's
not always the case.
Part of it, and they do go over that in this story as well. And An American Tale, like watching that as an adult, and I've seen it more as an adult than a child, I could say that it's not a bad movie at all whatsoever. I think it's charming enough. You know, but if it's something you grew up on, it's something you will definitely hold dear to you.
It's fundamental to me.
And I can understand why. I just don't have that.
No, I get it.
Like sentimental value.
There is a good cat though, Dom DeLuise, because they had to put him somewhere.
Yeah,
you know,
Dom DeLuise is
he's Tiger. He's a vegetarian.
He's in a few of these
cat,
things.
A little fish, but you know, yeah, he's always that kind of more bombastic comedy relief type character.
Well, I'm just saying in like Don Bluth films in general.
Yes,
like,
that's what I mean.
Yeah.
It's like he is in Jeremy and The Secret of Nim. He's that kind of
Is
clumsy,
he in All Dogs Go to Heaven?
I don't know. That's one I didn't really watch very much.
I know he's in Munchie and the Skateboard Kid.
Well, that's not a Don Bluth movie.
I don't know why he did that.
But yeah, and eventually, you know, the plan goes and the reuniting, like, because Tanya never gave up, and she's because they hear Tony and Bridget calling for Philly Mouskowitz after the plan and everything, and she's like, no, they changed my name to Tilly, maybe they changed Fievel's name to Philly,
right? And
she's off now, and her parents are running after her going, Tanya, come back, and she's like, no, it's him, I know it is. And they, you know, end up like, the reunion is like super.
Yeah, I mean, it ends on a good note.
Beautiful.
They all find each other, and then they live happily ever after.
And then the Statue of Liberty is complete at the very end.
Yeah. And then Henri shows them the statue.
And then it winks.
Yeah.
Which is the only bit of magic in this movie. I tend to think that's more just like meant to be a representation of America as it actually is. Like, you know, you'll be all right. Like, things are okay now. Like, you figured it out a little bit. I don't know.
To me, that was just the statue winking and just be like, yeah, that fucking do anything for you?
Okay.
I don't know. It was a very strange moment, but yeah, the movie overall, it's definitely Don Bluth. Like it's unmistakably Don Bluth.
Yeah.
And there is a quality to it that, you know, all Don Bluth films have.
Well, again, darker topics handled with grace.
Well,
for
even
children.
Just the animation,
well,
which
that
is
too. Sure.
it's. I wouldn't say it's on par with Disney. I'd say it's on par.
It's just different.
It's on par with like DreamWorks.
I'd say
that type of animation. It's not terrible, but
the mouth movements and everything are very similar.
Yeah, it's just
draw mice.
It's obvious that it didn't have the same budget that like a Disney movie would have had at the time, especially if we're talking about what 86. I don't know what that would have been. Probably
not great for Disney.
Oliver
That's
and
a
Company
dark
or
period. Because Little Mermaid didn't come out for a couple more years.
Yeah, I believe The Little Mermaid was 89.
Yeah.
So yeah, it wasn't quite on par with Disney, but it's definitely good.
I like it better.
Yeah.
Than a bunch of. Well, they were probably doing like Great Mouse Detective and stuff around this time, which I do like. I really do like. And
then in 1988, they created a movie that
started a hell of a franchise.
Yes. This is like when this movie came out, this is when I I knew the name Don Bluth.
Right.
This was a Don Bluth production. Land Before Time.
The Land Before Time.
And they put his name all over everything
as well
having
they
to
should.
do with this movie.
And it was also executive produced by George Lucas and Steven Spielberg.
Right.
Steven Spielberg also produced American Tail.
Yes. And Five Goes West, I
I
believe.
can't speak to that. I don't
There was
know.
a weird point in Spielberg's career where he was doing like cartoons.
I think he just saw the importance of the stories being told
Sure.
and was like, I want to make sure that these are
But he
able
was
to
also
be
like
told.
producing like Tiny Toons.
Yeah, sure.
And
Well, that was in the 90s, though.
right. But I'm saying like there was a point in his life where it was like Steven Spielberg presents.
Yeah, sure. But
a
again, I
Saturday
think
morning
he wanted
cartoon.
to make sure that kids were getting actually like, decent entertainment.
Yeah.
Maybe he saw some slop coming out and he was like, nah. I don't know.
Hey.
But yeah, no, The Land Before Time is a huge franchise. But yes, it started in 1988 and
This one I actually saw in theaters. This is my earliest memory of a theatrical experience. And it may be it wasn't my first. My first was The Black Cauldron, but I was so little that I was like my aunt took me and I think she wanted to see it.
Right.
It was at a time when my grandfather was like actively dying in the hospital, so the family was all there, but they didn't want me there because it might have been a little too traumatic for somebody my age.
My goodness.
So my Aunt Phyllis took me to go see The Black Cauldron, but I have no memory of that.
Oh, you were just told it happened.
Right. I might have been 2 years old.
My first theatrical experience that I remember is The Rescuers Down Under. I saw that in theaters.
Yeah. I mean, we're 2 years apart. So
right.
That makes sense. Yeah. But yes, this was absolutely something I saw in theaters. And I believe I went with, I want to say my dad and my mom. I don't know. This would have been like the last thing we did as a family before they divorced.
Yeah.
So
let's see. When is this? 88? Yeah, my parents also divorced in 1988. So yeah, no, this is definitely something that I had on VHS as a kid that I loved. This is another one. Now, no humans this time, right? It is in the time of the dinosaurs. And this tackles a whole mess of new, really important, hard-hitting topics like racism, like parent death, but there is still
friendship,
like starvation, but there is still hope, right? And I think it teaches faith as well in a really beautiful way. This movie, well, here, I'll let you say what you want to say about it, because this is another one that is super,
it was just this is the first movie that I have a memory of seeing in theaters, like as my first film experience. And like you mentioned, they are tackling a lot of things in here. And I think one of the things that I took away mainly watching it, this week is like showing something like this to kids now. It would really help out if you have a child that is just like, autistic or just not really socially inept, that type of person. This is a good movie to show to them because of the way that the group comes together and forms friendships, even though they are different.
And they're all and that's the point. But that they're all different.
It does it in a way that makes it look effortless.
Yeah. And they find commonalities, even though they're different.
And, I think that with kids today and how hard it is for them to make friends and things like that, this would be a good movie to show to them.
I mean, Spike is even nonverbal.
Yeah.
He doesn't say anything. He doesn't have to.
Yeah.
He gets to eat the most delicious grass in animation.
Yes, there is, there are aspects of racism in it with,
very much so. Long necks stick with long necks, three horns stick with three horns.
And just the way that they refer to each other as three horns or long necks.
Well, because they don't, they're not going to call themselves, Triceratops and Parasaurolophus and whatnot. We gave them those names.
But even it just sounds like,
but it is a defining, well, it's what is the defining feature that separates you from all the others,
right?
That's what you are, so but it is really interesting because you've got the inherent learned racism that Sarah has throughout the whole damn movie until the very end.
To her detriment.
Because her father has done nothing but tell her since she was born that three horns are superior and they don't play with anybody else. You only play with the other three horns. You only talk to other three horns. Like, you are superior. You can take care of yourself. And so she has that bravado and that ego that almost gets her killed several times.
I mean, look, to be fair, okay, we're talking about dinosaurs here.
It doesn't matter.
It probably was in the dinosaurs' best interest to stick together and not associate with other dinosaurs.
I know. But again, we're looking at this through the lens of humans.
Right, yes.
Right? Those babies would have all died. End of story.
Oh, yeah.
They wouldn't have made it to the Great Valley, but that's not the point.
Sarah especially, because she would have just not been willing to work with any of them.
Well, I would also say that an actual Triceratops child would have that instinct to not, headbutt a Tyrannosaurus that's knocked out. That wouldn't be the thing. She would stay away,
again,
even if it was
when we're talking
dead.
about dinosaurs and animals and shit, it probably is best
These are
that they
anthropomorphized,
yes.
okay? So we're just going to go with it.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, it's Littlefoot wouldn't have curled up on his mother's back to sleep. There's a lot of things. But no, this movie is tremendously important because, and I do think, now I am not a religious person of any kind, but there is something to faith. And I think faith and hope go hand in hand. And this movie so eloquently and beautifully instills the importance of faith without being preachy. Littlefoot, his mother tells him the way to the Great Valley. They just in talking while they're walking and everything. And, she's like, no, it'll have more food than you can ever eat, more fresh, cool water than you could ever drink. There will be lots of other long necks for you to play with. Like, this is heaven. This is paradise. Again, it is a journey toward paradise.
Right.
Because the world is dying around them. The environment is changing. The plants are dying. There's huge earthquakes. Like, it's not so great. So they, that's all the herds, not just the long necks. All of them are going toward this place that apparently exists. And Littlefoot asks his mother, like, have you ever been there? And she's like, well, no. And he's like, well, how do you know it's really there? And she says, some things you see with your mind, others you see with your heart. Some things you see with your eyes, others you see with your heart. Right. You have to know it's there. And so even then, after she, again, you've got children running off when they were supposed to stay by their parents. Yep. Bad things happen.
Well,
maybe listen to your kids.
This was an earthquake situation.
Listen to your parent. No. I'm talking about her death. She goes after the Sharptooth comes after Littlefoot and Sarah because they wandered away. Okay. They're playing with the frogs and starting to form a little bit of something. And then the Sharptooth comes. And her, his mother.
Sharptooth is a T-Rex, by the way.
Yes. And his mother does what a mother does and defends them. And I'm getting upset just talking about it.
Well, what's interesting here is the way that they portray Sharptooth. Like, when you look at all the other dinosaurs that they encounter, they're all pretty chill, right? They're all pretty nice. They're
all herbivores, though.
They may have words to exchange to one another.
They may be racist.
Yeah, they might be racist, but they're not like.
They do talk though. He doesn't talk. The Sharptooth isn't like, I'm gonna get you.
You see Sharptooth, and it is just this like growling, drooling, mangled mess of a fucking hulk of a beast of a thing. Like, I don't know. It's just very strange that.
Well, because again, I think when it comes to the antagonist in Don Bluth movies, we're seeing them as the characters see them. So, the herbivores are more personified. They're more like people, whereas this is the malevolent force coming to kill you, much like the cats in American Tail or Secret of NIMH. A dragon isn't talking.
Well, cats are proper bastards.
Listen here. They're precious babies.
I can attest to that.
Precious
But I think when it comes to Sharptooth, he's just being a T-Rex. I don't think there's anything.
I think it's instinct. No. But again, it's how the herbivores see him. He's other. He is the danger. So, the Russian cats aren't, like saying, oh, I'm going to get you. They're growling and drooling and all. And that's just how he does antagonists, I think. So, yeah. So Littlefoot's mother is badly injured. And, then at that point, there's also a huge earthquake going on. So herds are being split up. Littlefoot was separated from his grandparents. Sarah was separated from her, herd, all her sisters, her father, and everything.
Well, his mother gives him a tree star.
He does. Yeah, she does. They are very special.
Yeah.
But the tree star is definitely the symbol of his faith, you could say, because he keeps it safe. It is a
That's the
mother
part of his
present.
mother that he carries with him.
But it also represents the Great Valley and that realization of that dream of there's so many of these where we're going. I need to keep this one
It
safe.
also becomes a portal in which he can speak to her.
Well, but that goes
in
into faith as well.
Right.
And because after she dies, and if you have any kind of a heart and you saw this, oh my God, I was sobbing this time. I never won't cry. I knew, I washed my face and took my glasses off before we watched this because I already knew I was going to cry. Because as a kid, it's that whole, it teaches death in such an amazing way because she's like, do you remember the way to the Great Valley? And he's like, yeah, but why do I have to? You're going to be there. And she's like, well, I'll be with you, even if you can't see me. And he's like, what do you mean if I can't see you?
Right.
It is introducing this concept.
Trying to explain
children.
in a very short amount of time that I'm about to leave you forever.
But I still live in your heart.
Yes.
So
there is something to it. And, other movies have tackled this type of thing too.
I think this does it better than most.
After with Lion King even did this.
Yeah, but Bambi's mother's just gone.
Right.
They don't have that conversation. Yes. It's not that they don't look it in the face. She's killed off screen. You never see her get shot. You never see her bleed. You never see her die. You hear it.
She just lays
and then
down
she's gone.
Yeah.
You don't see it. So this takes that. You see Littlefoot's mother fighting the sharp tooth. You see bites getting taken out of her spine. You see her bleeding, her limping. She struggles to get up when he's like, mother, get up.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, I can't. So it takes that idea and really looks at it and says, this is reality. But just because she's gone doesn't mean she doesn't live in you. So anyways, but yes, I think that her speaking to him through the tree star, I think maybe that's just the little part in his heart, because I think when you go through trauma, you block some stuff out. And he definitely went through trauma and went into a deep depression for quite a while.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that they took the time in this 1 hour long thing to show that.
Look, I got to hand this movie a lot of credit here because yes, this is, like I said, when you take out the opening credits and the ending credits, this is an hour-long story.
Which is insane
where
to me.
They have tackled end of the world scenarios, extinction, death of a family member.
Yep.
Racism.
And hope.
Yeah, trying to find hope.
Faith. Yeah.
Friendship. It's a lot that they're tackling in this hour-long story.
Every one of the main group contributes in a way that their differences are what makes success possible.
Yeah.
If it was all long necks, they wouldn't have made it. That type of thing.
What I cannot,
and I like that.
What I cannot credit this movie for is that it definitely doesn't, as an adult watching this. Now, as a kid watching it, it felt longer. I don't know why.
It felt like a long movie. But as an adult,
this thing goes by so fast.
Yeah.
And you do realize that there's some of this that's rushed. Some of it that isn't.
They do time skips.
But at the same time, I think that if that was your runtime, you did a lot with this. You crammed a lot in there and you got every one of those points were not only mentioned, but also concluded.
Yeah. Yes. And those deeper things are allowed to be explored. But no, I think that's his mother, whether it's her actual spirit talking to him, a la Lion King, Simba, Simba, later on.
And she does talk to him in the clouds. But again, this came out in 1988. This is pre-Lion King, so you can't.
Or is it just himself allowing him, because he also grows in his own.
She doesn't talk to him in the clouds. Her image appears and points him in the direction to the Great Valley.
So, but you know, she's like, "Do you remember the way?" Because he goes through this deep depression, and he's like, "No." And she tells him again, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's actually her ghost talking to him in a puddle. You know,
Right.
it could just be him remembering the lessons that she instilled and rediscovering his faith in that, because there's other, like, Sarah constantly is like, what are you doing? This is stupid. And Littlefoot's like, I'm going. Like, I don't
Well,
care what you say.
I always just kind of looked at that as like the spirit of his mother. Like she still had unfinished business.
It's
here,
entirely
getting
possible.
her son to the Great Valley.
Yeah,
So
well, because like,
once he gets there, she can then move on.
and it still hits just as hard, if not harder, for me now than when I was a kid. And this is the last thing I'm gonna say about this movie, is because when I was a kid, the concept of your mother dying is like the worst thing you can think of.
Yeah.
And now, more so than that, which still is, because my mom is not as young as she used to be. Almost as bad, if not worse, is being the mother and dying and having to leave your child
Mhm.
in this dying world
Oh yeah.
when all you wanted to do is protect them, and doing everything you can, even after death. Honey, just keep going. Like that type of thing. Ugh. Fuck you, Don Bluth, man. it hits
No, this
hard.
it is a really
Ooh.
good story with a lot of good messages.
To be
for
an
kids.
hour-long kids movie that then turned into, we don't need to go into. I just care about the first one.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
And now we get into, we're going to do a massive time jump here because Titan AE came out in 2000.
mm,
And there were Don Bluth movies in between. There were All Dogs Go to Heaven, Rockadoodle.
yeah.
I'm
Pebble
sure there
and the
was other
Penguin,
things.
Troll in
Yeah.
Central Park.
Yes,
Like there were other ones.
But at those points in time in my life personally, I was just a little too old for it. Titan AE is one of those movies that came out that I saw it in theaters. I saw it quite a bit in theaters, actually, because this was a point in my life where, like, you know, my friends and I would all just go to the dollar theater.
Oh, yeah, no.
Because it was something to do that cost $1.
There's a good 2 years in my life from 98 to like 2000 where I saw every single movie in theaters,
Right. And
because
this-
it's just something to do.
This was one of those movies that my friends and I would go see. And I actually went and saw it by myself twice. Just because I really wanted to go see it. Like, this is absolutely my favorite Don Bluth movie. And the reason why, I think, is because it benefits from a lot of previous things that they tried, especially when it comes to the animation. Now, the animation in this is a mixture of traditional hand-drawn cell animation with computer animation, obviously, because
Yes.
this is that point in history where computers were the new hot shit and you wanted to use them as much as possible to animate your films, and I don't know why.
Yeah, the wiki says that Titan AE is a 2000 American animated post-apocalyptic science fiction action film directed by Don Bluth and Gary Goldman. But yeah, it notes extensive use of computer-generated imagery.
I will say
You can tell.
there are points in this where, you know, when there's a lot of action going on, because all of the ships in this are CGI ships. All of the backgrounds are CGI.
And the dredge, is that what they're called?
Right. The Dredge are the main villains of the movie. They are all CGI 3D.
They're pure energy, you know.
They are pure energy. But all the characters themselves are
It's an
hand-drawn,
interesting
animated.
and very clearly Don Bluth. Like, there is a distinctive John Bluth style,
Right.
you know.
Now, the computer effects in this movie, they are good in some areas, and in other areas, like when it comes to frame rate, which is something that I am absolutely a snob about. I absolutely hate this era of animation
Right.
for this very fucking reason. Everything, all the backgrounds, all the ships and everything had to be CG, so the frame rate quality had to drop because it had to. It just would have been so much more expensive. It would have been so much more space on hard drives
Yeah.
to get this to work.
Yeah.
And this is one of the movies that I absolutely just kind of overlook it because I think the story is just very good. I think the characters are interesting. I think the story that it's trying to tell with, you know, Cole being, you know, this is another one of those, a child loses his parent movies.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, his-
post-apocalyptic end of the world.
Right. This is the end of Earth as we know. And then this
the
is
AE is
this is
after
a
Earth.
human tale of the Earth ending.
Yeah.
And, you know, the main character Cole, played by Matt Damon,
Mm-hmm.
his father is like the leader of this rebel force that is trying to get humans onto another planet.
Kale.
Kale. Oh, yeah, you're right. Kale.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
Kale. His father is leading this group because we have to come up with an idea of somewhere else to live because the Earth is now uninhabitable.
Right.
And as they're leaving the Earth, it actually explodes because the dredge they eliminate the Earth.
Yeah, they do. My goodness.
So now we're 15 years later, and humans are now living in different areas of the universe on different
Drifter
colonies. Yes,
is what they say. Yeah.
And they're all just basically slaves to those colonies. They're batteries, right? They go out and do the grunt work to keep capitalism going.
Yes.
Basically.
I was trying to think of another movie. I can't think.
And Kale is one of those. He's just kind of a jack of all trades, like grunt work guy. He's
like a janitor, but then like suddenly later he can fly a ship. He can do all these other
when we meet the
things.
character, he's just in space cutting things up with a laser beam, like cutting up metal, like old decrepit ships and derelict ships.
Yeah, they're
and
like
salvaging parts.
Yeah,
yes, he's a junker, I guess. And you learn real quick that like the alien races in this treat humans terribly, especially if you're like living in their territories, things like that. And before Kale's father runs off, he gives him a ring and says, as long as you have this, there's always hope, whatever. 15 years later, he still hasn't heard a word from his father. So he's given up hope that his father's even alive. And he's convinced himself that his father was just a selfish person who ran away and abandoned him.
Yeah.
And from there, we find out that the ring is actually a MacGuffin that
well, because
it's tied to his DNA.
Yeah, Bill Pullman shows up who claims he knows his father and shows him, like, activates the ring.
Right.
Because he just thought it was a ring.
Which illuminates a map on the palm of his hand to what's known as the Titan, which is where humanity is supposed to end up. It's the Titan project they've been working on.
Titan is the hope for humanity.
Right.
That ship, because of what it can do, which we learn later on what it does.
And this is one of those ensemble casts. I mean, you have Matt Damon, you've got Drew Barrymore, Bill Pullman, John Leguizamo, Nathan Lane,
Janine Garofalo.
And each one of these characters are their own like thing, right?
I like that you named all the actors rather than the characters.
Yeah. I mean, the characters are whatever. A lot of these names, you're going to be like, what? I just called him Cole, and his name is Kale.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's future stuff. So
Akima.
And Preed, I think, is Nathan Lane.
Yeah.
Goon, which is unfortunate.
But it's spelled Gune, which you would never even know if you didn't have subtitles on.
Yeah, Janine Garofalo is this thing called Stith.
Stith, yeah. And she's like the weapons expert.
And she got long old legs.
Preed is like, he's the bodyguard.
Yeah, he got one ear.
Bill Pullman's character, what was his name?
What was his damn name? Corso.
Corso.
Why did I think Royce?
I don't know, but yeah,
whatever.
He worked with Kale's father,
right?
And because of that, now he's got this in with Kale, and he knows about the ring, and he's the one that tells him all about the
and he's like, okay, we gotta find
and,
Titan.
Right. So the humans need this map to find Titan, but the Dredge also want Kale because they want to destroy the Titan.
Right. They want that map.
They're worried about what humanity can become and can rise up and overthrow their power in the
because
universe.
The Dredge kind of are like they won the war, so to speak. They destroyed Earth. They scattered the little bits of humans, and so there's no Earth at all.
Right.
So they want to prevent that from happening.
And basically, the Titan Project it's basically it's a futuristic arc, right?
It's cool what it turns out to be, which they don't reveal.
It holds
until
the DNA that you need for every single creature
except humans.
Yeah, there's no humans.
I don't know why.
There's no human DNA in it, but yeah, it's got the genetic makeup of everything, including like
the grass and
grass, mountains, water, everything.
It can create a planet. Is the point of the Titan?
But it needs a tremendous amount of energy.
Yes,
and it also needs the ring,
right,
that Kale is wearing to activate the entire thing, which
Okay.
is the plot hole. I will say that right now. You don't
What
give
if he
that.
just lost it? Like he was a kid.
Yeah, you don't give that to an 8-year-old. You just don't.
But whatever, it's fine.
Yeah, but it is it's the thing that, like, you know, as the viewer of the movie, that, you know, moves the plot along, and it's fine. I think the characters are all well done. I think the designs on some of them are a little,
Ginny Garofalo's character is
yes.
weird. Like I like that doesn't make sense.
That character
from like an evolutionary standpoint.
But it is what it is.
It's fine.
Goon is another
fine.
one that's just kind
he's
of
just like a turtle.
Yeah.
He's just like a turtle guy.
And
he's very
I
smart.
think that some of these characters, because Treasure Planet came out around the same time,
either.
so I think a lot of these
I
things
think I got
taking,
them confused because the main characters look similar, don't they? With Treasure Planet, it is typical.
Well, Milo
blonde
wears
boy.
glasses.
No, that's Atlantis.
But they have. Okay, you're right. I'm thinking of
There's a third one.
Atlantis.
No, but
okay, so
Treasure
yes,
Planet-
there are 3 movies at this time in history that came out.
Yeah, but they all have the same hair because that's like
Yes, the
every
Treasure
boy
Planet
had
boy.
that hair.
I didn't watch Treasure Planet, so I don't know.
I haven't seen
but
Treasure
yes,
Planet.
they all
But
very
it
much
is
had the same haircut.
Yeah. It's a '90s boy haircut.
And, you know, Akima also has the same haircut.
She had T-Boz had that haircut.
That a lot of
from
girls have this
TLC.
haircut.
Yeah. I wanted that haircut at the time.
This
It
is
wouldn't have worked
very
well.
much a 2000s
Oh my
movie.
god!
Like,
Can we briefly?
all of the
Can we-
character design and everything in this film exists between 1999 and 2001.
Can we briefly talk about the soundtrack?
Oh yeah, the soundtrack is.
Oh my god!
Look, in 2000 there were 2 types of music, right? There was
Oh,
rap and there was
man.
nu metal.
Oh.
That was basically it. Maybe some pop punk. But
Oh,
yeah,
man.
the soundtrack for this movie, each one of these bands is a mix of nu metal and pop
You've
punk.
got Lit, Powerman 5000, Electricity.
Electricity.
Sure.
Sure.
Fun Loving Criminals, The Urge, Texas, Bliss 66, Jamiroquai, Splashdown, The Wailing Souls, and Luscious Jackson.
Yeah.
And it was.
And none of it works. None of this music works. With this
What's
film
really
at
funny is I do believe that they were trying to like. I can't figure out if these were songs that existed or they were written for the movie.
all. I'm sure it was a fair mix of both.
Because like it's the lyrics, because we watch with subtitles,
Yeah.
so we got the subtitles going on, and they seem like they're desperately trying to fit
To
what's
narrate the
happening.
scene.
Yeah, and I'm just like,
Yes.
And look, I have Lit songs, I have Powerman 5000 songs, I have Jamiroquai songs like on my playlist, my liked songs on Spotify. So I'm not. It just it again, I hadn't seen this movie, so that was a surprise.
It just
me.
doesn't work. And anytime
Oh,
one of
man.
these songs is playing, it really takes you out of what's supposed to be going on. Because who the fuck wants to sit through listening to a song by Lit during an action scene in a high science fiction
It's just very
movie?
funny
It's
to me.
so weird.
It's jarring. Apparently, Creed's song "Higher" was played in many of the theatrical trailers, but it didn't appear either on the soundtrack or in the film itself, which is a
It
choice.
would cost a lot of money.
But then why put it in the trailers?
It was less money in the trailer, I guess.
Why have it? Anyways.
Because the trailer is what gets asses in the seats.
Oh yeah, nothing.
And
Maybe
nothing
that's
would
why I
have got
never
me
saw
there
it. I'm like Creed.
quicker than Creed. I've
Please.
never cared for Creed.
No, thank you.
None of these bands
No,
have ever
thank
appealed to me,
you.
honestly.
Well, I like some Powerman 5000.
But yeah, that is definitely something that you need to understand going into this. Is the music will take you out of every scene.
It was a surprise.
But despite all of that, I think that the story is strong enough. It's interesting enough. It's something that you haven't really seen.
Well, and I
Since
do.
this.
There is a lot of creativity here. Like I really like, and there are some good action sequences, like when they're going through the hydrogen like ball
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, I will say that
the
that's
different planets are cool.
that is the one scene that, and there's like an ice planet that they go through.
Yeah,
The
Super
CG
cool.
backgrounds and the ships and all that were all done very
and the
well.
way the camera moves down and through,
Right.
like that would have been very exciting at the time. You didn't get things
you can
like
tell
that.
those were the 2 areas they put
Yes.
money in the budget.
And then the
towards.
ice crystals later, so you've got like this Hall of Mirrors thing going on.
Yeah,
And you know, the one ship is hiding from the other ship because
it's a game of cat and mouse,
it's-
basically.
that
in a Hall
is
of
super
Mirrors.
cool. Like,
and, yeah,
and that those parts I would say still hold up very well.
yeah. And
I think it's cool.
I'm not going to ruin anything in this movie for you. plot wise or whatever, there is
okay.
a twist, and
There
then there
is.
is a double twist.
I called the twist like 3 seconds in.
pretty quick, you'll get the first twist of what's
like
going on.
As soon as that, I was like, oh, but no, I won't say.
Yeah, and it's just this.
But if you haven't seen it yet, do go watch it.
It's a really fun popcorn science fiction movie to watch. You can watch it with your kids. You can watch it alone. It's just, I think that it's one of the most underrated Don Bluth films, and probably because at this point, Don Bluth, he's getting up there in age.
He's still alive.
Yeah, he is. I think he's 88 years old now, something like that.
He was born in 1937, so.
Yeah, so this was definitely one of his later films. I know that right now he's currently trying to get Dragon's Lair made into a theatrical film. Mm-hmm. I hope they go animated.
Dude,
and not
it is
live action.
So iconic as an animation. It absolutely would have to be exactly what the game is as far as the look of it.
But as far as Don Bluth properties go, I think that Dragon's Lair was probably my first exposure to Don Bluth. It had to be, because this thing was in arcades everywhere.
Yeah.
And I was going to arcades very young ages. My dad would take me to arcades because my dad liked them.
Yeah.
And, by the age of as soon as I was able to walk, I was in an arcade. So Dragon's Lair is probably the first thing I ever saw of Don Bluth work.
Mine was
Space Ace. I never played. I never saw that in an arcade anywhere.
No.
But yeah, just so you know, he's done video games too.
Yeah, it's true.
And these were not video games as you know them. These were Laserdisc games. So it was one of those. It was fully animated with a team of animators. So you're watching a fully realized
incredible
experience.
Yeah.
And you have to push a button at a certain time and make the character do a certain action.
It's equal parts amazing to look at and infuriating to play if you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, this will steal all your fucking
all
money.
your quarters. Yeah, but Don Bluth, just as a man, as a person, has led a really interesting life, and it's worth looking into. We didn't even touch on his time with Disney, how he left Disney, how he took a bunch of animators from Disney and said, no, we're going to go do our own thing. There's
That's
a
just
lot
how
to
business
him.
was played out back then.
He didn't like how he was being treated. He said, no, goodbye.
We have sadly...
Tim Burton did the same thing later on.
We have lost all of that as far as humanity goes.
I don't know about that.
That's the way it used to work.
There's plenty of independent art being made.
You get treated bad
there.
at work, you start your own company doing the same thing, and you do it better than they do, and you make more money, and then you laugh.
Well, I don't know that he made more money, but he did definitely leave his own unique stamp on my childhood and a lot of childhoods
where I
with
think
his movies.
We lost the plot when it comes to corporations and how they
why are we
us.
talking about this?
I think it's when we started paying for late pizza. I really do.
Well,
when they got us to pay for late pizza.
Didn't a child die?
What?
Though I always heard that they stopped the 30 minutes or it's free because a driver hit it.
That's why they did it.
Okay.
It certainly wasn't to get you to just continue paying for it.
I really think that the drivers were being reckless because they were being hounded
I'm just being
by
facetious.
management. And so I don't advocate child death. Guess it's just me in this room.
I, on the other hand, do. I think all children should die. You should go kill them all right now.
Don't put that. What is wrong with you? I know you're joking.
No, I think you should be showing them Don Bluth movies and letting them grow up to be well-rounded,
awesome people.
Yeah,
who understand there's darkness in the world, but always keep the hope alive in your heart.
Yes, that there are things bigger than them, so they don't just grow up being perpetual children. Because we have
don't
that
end up on
too.
a body cam. Watch Don Bluth. Don't end up on a body cam.
There you go. Yes. I couldn't have said it better. It's the best way that you can ensure that your child will not end up on a body cam on YouTube.
And you don't want that because we watch that all the time and laugh at the people.
And yeah, these people are pathetic.
Yep.
Don't let your kid be pathetic. Show them Don Bluth.
Correct.
Yeah. All right, well, all four of these films are high recommendations from both of us.
100%.
I think you should go out and watch them with your kids. And
watch them by yourself. I don't care if you're 30.
Yeah.
You'll enjoy it.
We can call that an episode, Jess. Where can people find you?
I am Jess Moon. I have deleted all social media off of my phone. So I can still check it on my desktop, but I'm making a concerted effort to not spend so much time looking at screens when I'm not at work.
Yeah.
So may check out my independent publishing house. If you like Don Bluth and you like how he said F you to the man and went and started his own thing, ooh-wee, do I have an independent publishing house for you. It's called Shadow Spark Publishing. You can find us on shadowsparkpub.com and Shadow Spark Pub on all social media because I have people who do that and they're very good at it and I love them.
What kind of alcohol do you serve at this pub?
I don't.
No.
It's a non-alcoholic pub.
Who does? How can I get some?
You can't. You have to go on a cruise for that.
Well, I'm gonna
do
soon. That very soon.
I can't wait. Anyways, that's me.
They,
Chad, where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Deadbeat Chad. You can follow the podcast on Instagram as well at The Pretty Little Podcast. We do have a YouTube channel. If you prefer to listen there, you can go to youtube.com/at The Pretty Little Podcast 69420. Thanks to everybody who downloads. We love you guys. We are seeing some growth. We continue to see growth every single day. We're getting downloads now.
Yeah, I wanted to say, we see you, person who recently found this show and downloaded like a bunch of episodes. We can always tell when we get someone new because it's like...
Because there's one download for like, every single episode that day.
So we see you. Hello, hi, welcome. Mwah, thank you.
Yeah. But yes, truly, from the bottom of our hearts, we appreciate each and every one of you downloading. You know, this podcast is just kind of a project we wanted to do together, but it is kind of refreshing to know that people are listening and they actually want to listen and they keep listening. So it's really keeps us motivated to keep going.
Yeah, for sure.
And we do appreciate it. So
thank you.
Till we see you again, stay pretty.